Old age is not a limit. It's the beginning of power you never knew you had. We've been lied to, told that life slows down after 60, that your best days are behind you, that your worth declines with your wrinkles, that you should sit down, be quiet, and fade into the background. But here's the truth. The problem is not age. The problem is perception. We confuse aging with decline. We treat gray hair like a funeral bell, not a badge of survival. We worship youth because it's beautiful. But we forget. Beauty fades. Character doesn't. And that's where the secret is. Old age is not a limit. It's a weapon. And most people are too blind, too young, or too scared to see it. Let me prove it. You know who became a fashion icon at 80? Iris Apfel. She didn't retire. She got louder, bolder. She signed a modeling contract at 97, nearly a century old, while younger people were afraid to post selfies. Who ran a marathon at 101? Fauja Singh. He started running at 89. At an age when most people are popping pills and praying for peace, he laced up his shoes and outran men half his age. Doctors told him to slow down. He didn't listen. Now he's a global legend. Who built a billion-dollar empire after 1,000 rejections? He was rejected 1,009 times before someone agreed to franchise his chicken recipe. He was 65 when he started KFC. That's right, your favorite fried chicken wasn't created by some 20-something tech bro. It was built by a man collecting Social Security checks. He turned a pension into a billion-dollar empire. So if you're thinking, I'm too old, ask yourself, too old for what? Too old to learn? Tell that to Nola Oakes, who became the oldest college graduate at 95 and kept studying for her master's degree after that. Too old to create? Grandma Moses started painting in her late 70s after arthritis made it too painful to do embroidery. She became a world-renowned artist, with her work selling for millions. She died with a brush in her hand, not a regret in her heart. Too old to fall in love? At 103, Winnie and George got married after meeting in a retirement home. They smiled like teenagers and kissed like they were 20. They didn't care what anyone thought. They didn't need society's permission to live. Here's the shocking part. Old age doesn't limit you. It frees you. No more pretending. No more pleasing. No more wasting time on things that don't matter. You've survived decades. You've lost people. You've failed, fallen, rebuilt. You've been through war, grief, betrayal, illness, and yet you're still here. You're not weaker. You're forged. You're like steel tempered in fire, while others are still learning how to hold the match. And let's talk practically, because this isn't just a feel-good story. This is reality, and you can weaponize it. Start a business? You've got decades of experience and wisdom that Gen Z can't Google. Write a book? You have stories nobody else can tell, because they haven't lived them. Mentor the young? You're not out of touch. They're out of depth. Travel the world? Retirees today are backpacking across continents, not sitting in rocking chairs. One woman, Barbara Hillary, became the first black woman to reach both the North and South Poles in her 70s. She beat cancer, then beat the cold. That's not just inspiration. That's domination. And yet, society tries to make you invisible. Why? Because an older person who knows their power is dangerous. They can't be sold lies. They can't be manipulated with trends. They don't panic during chaos. They've seen worse. They don't crumble under pressure. They are pressure. But the most dangerous thing about aging, it reveals the truth, that most people aren't held back by their age. They're held back by fear. Not the fear of death, but the fear of truly living too late. It is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste much of it. Seneca, youth wastes time proving itself. Age doesn't. And that's why the elderly, the awakened ones, move with lethal clarity. That's the quiet superpower of old age. You stop performing. You stop pretending. You start becoming. They don't chase applause. They chase truth. They're not here to impress you. They're here to outlast you. Yuichiro Miura, a Japanese mountaineer, climbed Mount Everest at 70, then again at 75, then again at 80. Doctors warned him his heart might not handle it, that his legs wouldn't make it, that his age was a threat. He climbed anyway. At the summit, he didn't scream. He whispered, "I made it." That wasn't adrenaline. That was conviction. Now ask yourself, are your excuses bigger than Everest? Phyllis Sues, a dancer, trapeze artist, yogi, and pilot. At 85, she began yoga. At 90, she did trapeze. At 93, she jumped out of a plane. At 95, she was still doing splits on Instagram. The world told her to slow down. She replied, "Why? I'm just getting started." You think time is running out? She proved time is what you make it do. She didn't just defy gravity. She defied expectations. Death smiles at us all. All a man can do is smile back. Marcus Aurelius. You know what aging does best? It kills your fear of embarrassment. You stop caring about being liked. You stop asking for permission. You realize the world will spin whether you play small or go all in, so you might as well go all in. John Glenn, at 77, returned to space. NASA didn't choose him for nostalgia. They chose him because he could handle the pressure. NASA tested him brutally, and he passed every test men half his age failed. While his peers were watching daytime TV, he was orbiting the Earth. And when asked why he did it, he said, "Because there's more to see." You think you're tired at 50? He was literally orbiting Earth at nearly 80. Taiichi Igarashi, 100 years old, and still mayor of his town in Japan. Not a figurehead, not ceremonial. He made executive decisions, settled political disputes, signed policy changes. Reporters came for his resignation. He laughed and said, "You'll resign before I do." His leadership wasn't outdated. It was unmatched. Because time didn't rust him. It refined him. At 104, Ray Chavez was the oldest survivor of Pearl Harbor. Still traveling, still speaking, still saluting. People asked what kept him alive so long. He answered with a simple phrase, "I kept showing up." He wasn't trying to be a hero. He just refused to quit. Not death that a man should fear, but never beginning to live. Marcus Aurelius. Old age is not a countdown. It's the green light you've been waiting for. No more excuses. No more pretending. No more waiting for permission. Because when your bones ache and your hair falls, the only thing left to carry you is purpose. And if you still have that, you're not old. You're just getting warmed up. Here's what nobody tells you. Old age is an unfair advantage. You see patterns others can't. But you trust your instincts without needing validation. You've failed so many times, fear no longer sticks. And you've buried enough people to understand. You don't have time to waste on mediocrity. You can become more dangerous, more focused, more unstoppable than ever before. Because you stop living for the approval of others and start living for the mission. He who fears death will never do anything worth a man who is alive. Seneca. The tragedy is not growing old. The tragedy is growing dull. Most people don't die at 90. They die at 30 and keep breathing for 60 more years. They let the world tell them what their age means. So they shrink. They settle. They sleepwalk through the decades. But the ones who wake up late? They're lethal. They've buried friends, buried dreams, and buried fear. Now they know. Everything from this point forward is a bonus round. So they live like warriors, because there's nothing left to lose, and everything to gain. Nola Oakes graduated college at 95. Why? Because she had unfinished business. She didn't care that people thought it was too late. She was too busy collecting degrees and wisdom. She went on to get her master's at 98. Let that sink in. While most people her age were preparing funerals, she was preparing a thesis. It is not death that a man should fear, but never beginning to live. Marcus Aurelius. Old age is not the sunset, it's the second sunrise. No more lies. No more waiting. No more hiding behind, "I'm too old." Because when your body aches and your bones crack, and your friends are gone, you realize something young people can't. The only thing left to carry you is purpose. And if you still have that, you're not old. You're not retired. You're not expired. You are just getting warmed up. So, here's the question that should haunt you. What if the version of you that the world needs most hasn't even shown up yet? What if the fire in your soul, the book you haven't written, the business you haven't built, the life you haven't lived, is still waiting behind a wall you built with your own hands? Called, "I'm too old"? That wall is a lie, and you don't have time to decorate it. You have time to burn it. Because here's the truth. The clock isn't your enemy. Your complacency is.